Well, you asked for it. Hey folks, it's Punished Ileiad. I can't stress this enough when I tell you folks that The Lighthouse is the first gay movie, or at least is the first movie to illustrate homosexual romance in the big screen. Quite possibly it did a better job than Call Me By Your Name and Brokeback Mountain. If you're not familiar with The Lighthouse, basically the entire premise of it is just two dudes working as lighthouse keepers on a remote island for 4 weeks, and obviously there's more into that. Given by Thomas Wick's vocabulary, there are many references about several mythologies and stuff, the obvious one being the myth of Prometheus, the titan god who gave mankind the Lord's souls, which ushered the Age of Fire. But I don't want to go further into that tangent because I find it to be bullshit. None of the mythologies add up. This movie is basically just two dudes vibing and how do you put this?
It's not gay if you're at sea for several days and you need some companionship.
And if you think about it, even though that their relationship never manifested, it's clear to the viewers that Ephraim Winslow is a closeted homosexual and has unrequited feelings for Thomas Wake. But that underlying message was overshadowed with the dark and gritty atmosphere, the sense of dread reminiscent of a cold, dark, ambient album surrounding the characters, and the fact that it's an A24 movie. There's also this scene which is nice. Both of these guys have one thing in common. Both of them are sexually frustrated. What happens when two guys get virtually stranded in an island? They get the case known as Caeruleosfera, which is Latin for blue balls. I'm not making that up, by the way. Before Ephraim spied on Thomas dry humping in bed, he discovered a wooden mermaid figure that was once used by previous wikis to, you know, keep themselves company. During a drinking session, Ephraim said,
"Drunk since I first laid eyes on you."
Now what's that supposed to mean? It could mean a lot of things, really, but it could only mean one thing, that Ephraim indeed has feelings for Thomas. Thomas then asked if Ephraim is fond of his lobster. Now, you might be thinking that it's a literal lobster, but no, I don't want to say it, but I feel like you know what I mean by now. I mean, I don't want to get... I mean, don't even get me started with the steak.
If I had a steak, I would fuck it.
But in the end, Ephraim denied his claims. This is the part where Ephraim fought against his homosexuality with the company of the mermaid figure, imagining himself to be making love with a mermaid. The pivotal thing about this scene is when thoughts of a blonde guy began to flash in his mind. He fought ferociously to suppress the thought, but it just kept coming back. You know, it's like the white bear paradox, I believe. Ephraim was then left with a look of defeat upon orgasm and throws away the figure, finally embracing that he is in fact gay. The boys proceeded to vibe together. They drank plenty, sang sea shanties, and slow danced together. It was at this point that Ephraim felt close to the warmth of another man. As they were about to make a move on each other, Thomas pushed himself away from Ephraim. Ephraim, much to his disappointment, segued this by challenging Thomas to a fist fight. The Lighthouse is not just a tale of descending into insanity, myths relating to the deep ones, and Alfred Hitchcock. It's also a story about embracing your masculinity and the way you feel towards your own. Back then, you would be treated badly just for being gay, and yet we still feel this discrimination to this day. And it's nice to see that a movie like this tells us that there's nothing wrong with being, you know, different. In conclusion, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but this is what Zero Pussy does to a mofo.